The air was thick with the scent of Brooke's signature perfume, a floral reminder of the woman who'd anchored him through decades of chaos, but today even that couldn't soothe the storm brewing in his eyes. Steffy, his fierce daughter, stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the manicured gardens, her arms crossed tightly over her chest, blonde hair pulled back in a severe ponytail that matched the hardness in her gaze. Finn, her husband, hovered nearby, his medical scrubs rumpled from a long day at the hospital, his handsome face etched with conflict as he glanced between his wife and the door where any moment now, the news would crash in like a tidal wave. "Dad, this can't be happening," Steffy finally spat, her voice a whip crack in the silence. "Luna. That manipulative little witch. Pregnant with Will Spencer's kid. After everything she did, drugging him, assaulting him, now she's waltzing back into our lives like some redemption fairy tale." Rich stopped pacing, running a hand through his silver-streaked hair, his blue eyes flashing with the same protective fire that had defined him since his modeling days. "I know, sweetheart. I know. But the paternity test doesn't lie. Will's the father. And now we've got a custody war on our hands that's going to tear this town apart." Finn stepped forward, his voice steady but laced with the exhaustion of a man caught between blood and love. "Steffy, please. Luna's my sister, half-sister, whatever. She's changed, or at least she's trying to. Prison, it broke something in her, but maybe this baby could fix it." Steffy's laugh was bitter, sharp as shattered glass. "Fix it? Finn, she faked her death. She lied to everyone, including you. And now she's carrying your nephew or niece. No. Bill and Katie might think they can swoop in and play white knights, but I won't let that child grow up in the Spencer web of lies and dollar signs." Across town, in the sun-drenched living room of the Spencer mansion, a fortress of glass walls and ocean views that screamed old money, Bill Spencer slammed his fist on the polished teak coffee table, sending a crystal decanter rattling precariously. His chiseled jaw clenched, the scar from some long-forgotten brawl pulling tight as he glared at the paternity results clutched in his hand, the paper crinkling under his grip. Katie Logan, his ex-wife and eternal flame, sat poised on the edge of a cream-leather sofa, her legs crossed elegantly, but her green eyes burned with a mother's unyielding resolve. She was dressed in a sleek white blouse and pencil skirt, every inch the powerhouse editor who'd clawed her way to the top of the fashion world, but today her armor felt paper-thin against the nightmare unfolding. "Bill, calm down," she said, her voice a cool command even as her fingers twisted the hem of her skirt. "Yelling at that paper won't change the fact that Luna's baby is family, Will's family. And after what she did to our son." Bill whirled on her, his voice booming like thunder over the Pacific. "What she did? Katie, she drugged him. Took advantage of him when he was vulnerable, blacked out from too much celebrating his high school graduation. Our boy, Katie, our Will. And now this. A kid? I'm the one who pulled strings to get her out of prison early, thinking she deserved a second chance because of Poppy's connection to Lee. God, what a fool I was." Katie rose, placing a manicured hand on his arm, her touch both soothing and electric, a spark of the passion that had ignited and extinguished their marriage more times than they could count. "You're not a fool, Bill. You're a father. And so am I, in a way. That's why we're doing this, taking custody. Luna's going back to jail, the cops are already en route thanks to that little Spitfire Electra. She'll give birth behind bars, and we'll raise that child right. No more Spencers tarnished by Nozawa blood." Bill's eyes softened for a flicker, searching hers, the old fire rekindling. "You and me. Against the world again. Katie, you know what this means. Steffy and Finn will fight us tooth and nail. And Poppy, hell, Poppy might even try to muscle in, using this as leverage to worm her way back into my life." Katie's lips curved in a determined smile, fierce and unapologetic. "Let them try. I've faced down Brooke Logan 100 times, a custody battle with the Forresters is just Tuesday. At the bustling Los Angeles Police Department, where fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets over scuffed linoleum floors and the constant hum of radios underscored the city's underbelly, Deputy Chief Bradley Baker leaned against his cluttered desk, his weathered face creased with the cynicism of 20 years on the force. He adjusted his tie, loosening it against the collar that always felt too tight after a long shift, and eyed the handcuffed figure across from him, Luna Nozawa, her dark hair disheveled, her once defiant eyes now wide with a mix of terror and desperation. She sat rigidly on the metal chair, her hands cuffed to the table, the swell of her pregnancy just beginning to show beneath the simple black dress she'd worn to what was supposed to be a family reconciliation. Electra Forrester, the teenage firebrand who'd tipped off the cops, stood in the corner with arms crossed, her youthful beauty marred by a scowl that promised no mercy. "You think this is over, Luna?" Electra sneered, her voice dripping with teenage venom honed by Forrester drama. "You assaulted my friend, Will's my friend, and now you're knocked up with his kid. Newsflash, you're a sociopath, and no amount of waterworks is getting you out of this." Luna lifted her chin, tears streaking her mascara, but her voice held a raw edge, the plea of a woman who'd clawed her way back from rock bottom only to be yanked down again. "Electra, please." I was lost then, angry, desperate. But this baby, it's my chance to be better. Will's chance. Don't let them take it from me. Baker cleared his throat, his gravelly voice cutting through the tension like a knife through fog. "Miss Nozawa, the evidence is ironclad. Assault, deception, faking your death, that's a laundry list longer than my ex-wife's grudges. You're headed back to prison, pregnancy or no. But custody. That's above my pay grade. The Spencers are already filing papers, and from what I hear, the Forresters aren't far behind." Luna's breath hitched, her hands straining against the cuffs. "No. Baker, you have to listen. Poppy, my mom, she'll fight for me. And Finn, he's family. Please, just give me time to prove I'm not that person anymore." Electra rolled her eyes, stepping closer with the bravado of youth unscarred by true loss. "Prove it. You lied to everyone, Luna. Fake dying to escape. Will deserves better than a mom like you. And that baby. It'll be safe with Bill and Katie, way safer than with you." Back at Brooke's sprawling estate, a sanctuary of soft pastels and ocean breezes that had weathered more heartbreaks than a soap opera marathon, the Logan sisters gathered like warriors around a war table. Brooke, the eternal siren in a flowing red dress that hugged her curves like a lover's promise, sipped chamomile tea from a delicate china cup, her golden hair cascading over shoulders still turning heads at any age. Donna, her younger sister, paced in gold heels that clicked authoritatively against the hardwood, her voluptuous figure clad in an emerald sheath that screamed success.
Katie had just stormed in, fresh from the Spencer mansion, her cheeks flushed with battle-ready adrenaline. "Sisters," Katie announced, dropping her designer clutch on the antique sideboard with a thud that echoed her resolve. "We have a war on our hands. Luna's arrested, Electra made sure of that, and the paternity's confirmed. Will's child. But I'm not letting that girl anywhere near it. Bill and I are petitioning for full custody today." Brooke set her cup down gently, her hazel eyes widening with the shock of a woman who'd seen it all but still recoiled at fresh cruelty. "Katie, honey, slow down. Luna's Finn's sister, sort of. Steffi's going to lose her mind if you go after that baby. And Bill? You two haven't been in years. This custody thing, it's going to drag everyone into the mud." Donna whirled, her blonde curls bouncing, hands on hips in a pose that could command a boardroom or a catwalk. "Oh, come on, Brooke. Protective aunt mode activated. That child is a Spencer, Will's blood. Luna's a walking disaster. Drugs, lies, assault. Remember what she did to poor Will? He was just a kid, celebrating, and she preyed on him. No way that baby's growing up with that shadow." Katie nodded fiercely, pulling out her phone to scroll through the custody forms she'd already half-filled. "Exactly. Bill feels the guilt, he got her out early. But together, we'd give that kid stability, love, The Spencer legacy without the toxicity. Poppy might try to interfere, but she's got her own skeletons. And if Steffy pushes back. Brooke sighed, rising to pull Katie into a hug, her voice a soothing murmur against the storm. Then we'll fight like always. Logan, stick together. But Katie, be careful. This isn't just about custody. It's about healing will, about forgiving ourselves for the messes we make. Meanwhile, in the dimly lit back booth of the Il Giardino restaurant, where the aroma of garlic and aged Chianti mingled with whispers of illicit deals, Deacon Sharp nursed a scotch on the rocks, his rugged features shadowed by the low-hanging lamp. The place was his kingdom now, a far cry from the dingy bars of his youth, but tonight it felt like a confessional. Taylor Hayes, elegant in a sapphire blouse that accentuated her timeless grace, slid into the seat across from him, her psychologist's poise masking the turmoil of a woman who'd loved and lost Ridge one too many times. "Deacon, your text was cryptic, even for you," she said, her voice warm but probing, like a therapy session wrapped in flirtation. "What's so urgent it couldn't wait?" He leaned forward, elbows on the scarred wooden table, his eyes pleading in a way that tugged at her maternal instincts. "Taylor, it's Luna. They arrested her again. Paternity test says the baby's will Spencer's. And now Katie's gunning for custody like it's the last Birkin bag on sale. Poppy's my wife, Luna's her daughter. Our family, Taylor. I need your help. Psych eval, character witness, anything to keep that kid out of Spencer's hands." Taylor's brow furrowed, her fingers tracing the rim of her water glass, memories of her own custody wars with Brooke flashing like lightning. "Deacon, I get it. Luna's troubled, but redeemable. I've seen it in sessions with Finn. But the Forresters? Steffy's livid. Ridge is protective. And Bill's Spencer doesn't lose. Not without a fight." Deacon's laugh was hollow, rough around the edges from years of hard living. "Yeah, well, neither do I. Not when it's family. Taylor, you and me, we've danced this tango before. Help me sway the judge. For Poppy, for Luna, for that innocent little life caught in the crossfire." She reached across, her hand covering his, a spark of old chemistry igniting in the dim light. "All right, Deacon. For old time's sake. But this could blow up big time." The courtroom loomed like a coliseum of polished oak and stern gavels, sunlight slanting through high windows to illuminate the gallery packed with LA's glittering elite, their designer suits and whispers a stark contrast to the raw emotion on display. Judge Elena Vasquez, a no-nonsense Latina in her 50s with salt and pepper hair pinned in a severe bun, presided from the bench, her dark eyes scanning the room with the weariness of someone who'd untangled more family knots than a sailor. On one side sat Bill and Katie, a power couple reborn, Bill in a charcoal suit that screamed boardroom dominance, Katie beside him in pearl gray, her hand resting possessively on his knee. Opposite them, Poppy Nozawa fidgeted in a modest navy dress, her exotic beauty subdued by anxiety, Deacon at her side like a loyal guard dog. Luna, belly rounding out her orange jumpsuit, was escorted in chains, her face pale but set with defiance, flanked by her public defender. Steffy and Finn occupied the back row, Steffy's posture rigid, Finn's conflicted gaze darting between his sister and his wife. "Order," Judge Vasquez intoned, her voice booming off the vaulted ceiling as the bailiff called the session to order. "We're here for the custody petition regarding the unborn child of Luna Nozawa and William Spencer III. Mr. Spencer, your opening." Bill rose, buttoning his jacket with deliberate calm, his voice resonant and commanding. "Your Honor, my client, myself and co-petitioner Katie Logan, seek full guardianship. Luna's history is one of violence and deceit, assault on our son, faked death, prison time. This child deserves stability, not chaos. The Spencers can provide elite education, security, love untainted by scandal." Katie nodded subtly, her eyes locking on Poppy's with a silent challenge. The defender countered swiftly, a harried man in a rumpled suit. "Objection to character assassination, Your Honor. My client is reformed, pregnant, and vulnerable. Family ties to Dr. Finnegan. Support maternal custody post-release." Vasquez banged her gavel lightly, silencing the murmurs. "Noted. Dr. Hayes, your testimony." Taylor approached the stand, her heels clicking authoritatively, hand on the Bible as she swore in. Luna has made strides in therapy, she began, voice steady. Anger rooted in abandonment, but potential for growth. Separating her from the child could devastate her progress. Bill leaned to Katie, whispering hotly, "She's biased, Ridge's ex. This is rigged." Katie squeezed his hand, whispering back, "Not yet. We've got aces up our sleeves." As the hearing dragged into recesses and objections flew like confetti at a funeral, whispers rippled through the gallery. Brooke shooting daggers at Taylor, Donna texting furiously with updates to the Logan clan, Electra smirking from the shadows like a pint-sized avenger. Ridge pulled Steffy aside in the hallway, his arms enveloping her in a bear hug that smelled of cologne and certainty. "We're in this together, kiddo. That baby's Forrester blood through Finn. We fight for contact, for influence." Steffy pulled back, tears glistening but unshed. "Dad, it's not just the baby. It's Will, he's shattered. Luna preyed on him, and now this tie forever? I hate her for it." Finn overheard, stepping in with gentle hands on her shoulders. "Steffy, hate won't help. Luna's flawed, but the kid's innocent. Maybe we co-parent, bridge the families." She shook him off, voice breaking. "Bridge? Finn, your loyalty's splitting you in two. Choose, us or her." Days blurred into a montage of strategy sessions and tear-streaked confrontations, the custody clash igniting fault lines across LA's elite. At the hospital, where beeping monitors and antiseptic air cloaked deeper wounds, Finn scrubbed in for a routine surgery, but his mind wandered to the ultrasound images of his sibling's child, tiny heartbeat flickering like a promise or a curse. Lee, his adoptive mother, cornered him in the lounge, her white coat crisp, her expression a mask of maternal fury. "John Finn, don't you dare soften for her. Luna's a black hole, sucking in everyone." Poppy begged me to intervene, but even she knows the truth. That baby's better off without her. Finn sank into a chair, head in hands. "Mom, it's family. Blood. How do I turn my back?" Lee softened, kneeling to meet his eyes. "You don't. You protect it from her." In a quieter corner of the city, at a nondescript park bench overlooking a duck pond that mirrored the calm Luna wished she felt, Poppy met with Brooke under the guise of old acquaintances burying hatchets. The wind toyed with Poppy's scarf, her eyes red-rimmed from nights plotting with Deacon. "Brooke, you of all people understand second chances. Luna's my girl, my only girl. Katie's playing savior, but it's control she craves. Help me talk to Ridge." Brooke, in casual jeans and a silk blouse, sighed, watching a mother chase her toddler. "Poppy, I do. God, the battles I've fought for my kids. But he's collateral damage. Katie's fierce because she's scared. This kid could heal them, or destroy what's left." The climax erupted at a tense mediation in a sleek conference room downtown, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Hollywood sign like a mocking beacon of dreams deferred. Bill and Katie arrived arm-in-arm, a united front. Poppy and Deacon flanked Luna, who clutched her belly like a talisman. Steffy and Finn entered last, the air crackling with unspoken accusations. The mediator, a bland-suited woman named Carla, droned preliminaries, but Katie cut through like a scalpel. "Let's cut the BS. Luna, you assaulted my son. No court will grant you custody. Bill and I offer supervised visitation. Generous, considering." Luna surged forward, chains clinking, her voice a raw sob. "Generous? It's robbery. This is my baby, our baby. Will loved me once before the lies. I can be good for him, for us." Bill's face twisted in disgust. "Love? You drugged him, Luna. Took his choice. That's not love, that's violation." Deacon interjected, voice gravelly with plea. "Bill, you're a father, think of Will. He needs his sibling, not some sterile Spencer upbringing." Steffy snorted, arms crossed. "Sterile? Try safe. Away from psychos who fake deaths." Finn held up a hand, voice mediator calm. "Enough. Compromise. Joint custody, therapy mandates, Forrester oversight. For the child's sake." Poppy nodded eagerly. "Yes, family first." But Katie's eyes flashed steel. "No. Full Spencer. Or war." As arguments escalated, voices overlapping in a cacophony of hurt and hope, Judge Vasquez reconvened unexpectedly, her ruling a thunderclap. Temporary custody to Spencer's pending birth. Luna, visitation in facility. Therapy for all. This child's future isn't a battlefield yet. Cheers and gasps mingled. Bill pulled Katie close, whispering, "We won the round." Luna crumpled into Poppy's arms, Deacon's glare promising appeals. Steffi stormed out, Finn trailing with apologies. Ridge waited outside, enveloping Brooke in a kiss that spoke of alliances shifting like sand. "It's not over," he murmured against her lips. "But maybe, just maybe, it's a start." Weeks later, as autumn leaves painted LA in fleeting golds, the families circled warily, the baby's kicks a metronome to uneasy truces. Will, the silent epicenter, wandered the Spencer grounds alone, hand on a soccer ball, his boyish face shadowed by memories he'd rather drown. Katie found him there, sitting on the grass, and knelt beside him, her hand gentle on his shoulder. "Sweetie, talk to me. This baby, your baby, it's not your fault." Will's voice cracked, young and vulnerable. "Mom, I was wasted stupid. She seemed nice. Now everyone's fighting over it like I'm not even here." Katie pulled him into her embrace, tears mingling with resolve. "You are here, Will. And we'll protect you, both of you. Promise."